Team marker, action. What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? I'm Ryan D, aka Ryan680.
This is Lex, back with another review.
And why not Cloud X Drive?
Cloud X Drive. Lex, what is going on, guys? How is everyone doing today? It's a late evening here on Wednesday. Wednesday. It feels like a Thursday. The 29th film. Can you believe it? The 29th film from Marvel Studios here. You know, we're going to talk about expectations. We're going to talk about everything, guys. So stay tuned. We're going to go digest this whole sucker here, and we're going to talk about this whole Marvel movie, if it met our expectations or if it did not. This movie really relies a lot on the silly aspect that Ragnarok gave out a lot, right? It really relies on that. And you know, Tyga even said it. I've saw interviews that he even said it himself. It's just gonna rely more on that state. And it feels that way. Obviously, this movie's like double. I know we talked about it off camera. It's more like double the take on the comedy and everything. You know, with that being said, I mean, am I accurate on that, guys, Lex or Cloud, or is it like, I mean, Cloud, what did you think on the comedy as far as like was it double or was it less, or?
It was a lot more, and I think we talked about it off camera. Like the pacing for the movie was kind of crazy, like on the comedy aspect of it. It was hard to pick up a tone on a certain scene you're watching.
Gotcha, Lex.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's I personally think they doubled down. Like Taika, it almost feels like on Thor Ragnarok, Marvel let Taika Waititi like try things out.
Yeah,
really change up the character. He did change up the character for the better. I 100% believe that. And then for this one, they were like, okay, go nuts. Like, we'll give you the freedom that you need. Go nuts. And though I don't think that's like necessarily a bad thing, the movie does feel disproportional to an extent when it comes to the comedic aspect. Like I think I described it to a couple friends as it being more fun than movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, as opposed to really saying like, the movie was fun, I do feel like the fun, it's its own entity. Like the fun is its own aspect of it. And you know, we can call it silliness, we can call it wackiness, craziness, and things like that. It works for what it is. Like, it's effective. There was a lot of laughs in the audience and things like that, and I think a lot of people are gonna enjoy that. And can I say that I was entertained and I actually had fun? Mm-hmm. Yes, the movie never lost me. Like, I was always having fun. But once again, it just depends of like, do you want a movie to be fun, or do you want fun to be its own thing, and then it's there's also a movie going on. It's just kind of like, I think it's really going to depend on the audience as far as what they would like to walk out of the movie with.
Yeah, no, I completely agree there. You know, let's talk about like the different expectations here. More so, I'm talking about myself here. Is that, you know, certain individuals like myself go for like that whole emotional dark aspect of it, and really want to see not necessarily just of itself, to where like it's real carrying the emotional feel throughout the movie, not necessarily depressing or anything like that, but more of that, you know, strong dialogue and strong script. Again, though, that's just my point of opinion there on what I see in a comic movie. You know, it's worked. It's worked a lot with certain individuals, and it has not worked with certain individuals as well. At the same time, we could say that. But even so, there's other people, and again, that's okay. And there's other people, other comic book fans that actually enjoy exactly what we just got out of this movie. The silliness, the rowdy silliness, the over the thrills, and that's fine too. That's totally okay. If you enjoy a comic book movie just like that, that is completely okay. But again, I could see why it's split. Like myself, you know, it's countless times to where like it really like this movie is probably the most Thor movie that really relies on the comedy. And I'll be honest here, you know, Thor Ragnarok wasn't, and we talk about it all the time. Lex was all calling me out saying, "What? You don't think Thor Ragnarok's like the best Thor movie?" And you know what? It's silly, right? The Thor Ragnarok is a very silly movie. But here's the thing: I just realized I had to meditate on. Here's the thing, Claude, that Lex, that I had really had to meditate on myself, was that with Thor Ragnarok, we got portions of the comedy, right? Yeah. We got portions of it. I would say that. With this movie, it's just all out. It's just all out in the open. Every 2 sentences, maybe even every sentence, certain scenes here. But it's very pushing it out there, I guess, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, when it comes down to like the whole depth of this story here, and did y'all like the story so much? Was it misleading, or I mean, what was y'all's initial reactions out of this, like initial thoughts? Claude, we'll start with you, man. What was your initial thoughts? The very first words that you would say, nouns that you would describe this movie.
I didn't mind the story. I like the story a lot, actually. But like to touch upon what you said, the tone of the movie was comedy the whole time.
Yeah.
Besides the first scene, any scene that was supposed to have like an emotional impact, it was like cut off because of the comedy. Yeah. Like every scene, whether it was a love scene, a sad scene, action scene, like it got ruined with the comedy, I think.
Yes, and agree. I completely agree there. And that was, I guess, yeah. Thank you for, and that's the thing I really noticed a lot in it. But at the same time, though, you could tell, because I don't know if you noticed, there was a comedy scene right before we went to the black and white, to the shadow. I think they call it the shadow.
Shadow.
Yeah, like where it's black and white. We see it in the trailer. It's not a spoiler. We see it in the trailer. It's black and white. And when we go there to the, it gets very dark, I guess, or depressing, whatever you want to call it. And you can tell because our whole audience, before they're laughing like every other sentence, the theater's so quiet. It's so quiet. Everyone's just watching the fight scene, which that fight scene was beautifully done, which we're not going to mention spoilers, by the way, at this review. But it's very, very good. The CGI is beautifully done. That's probably one of the positive things I really got of it. The CGI was just on top of the world.
I think it was the best scene of the whole movie.
Dude, the whole CGI, exactly. The whole CGI, especially when they went to go see Zeus, was just so done very well. God, the CGI in this whole movie was very well done. I mean, I don't think. Would y'all agree on the CGI? Did I miss anything, or where it was like kind of blurry on some certain aspects, or no?
For me, there was moments where the CGI was a little too green screeny, but that's in part because they're filming this stuff during the pandemic still going on and all those things. So a lot of these have to be done on those. Yeah. I mean, and Marvel's known for that, like the big giant, the green screen sets. There's a moment in the trailer even when Thor is wearing a suit and then particularly a helmet. Mm-hmm. In the trailer I noticed it and I was like, that helmet's 100% CGI. And they've done this before, like they've done it with the Spider-Man movies and all that stuff, where everything really overlaying you is CGI. Mm-hmm. And here, there was a few moments where I spotted it as well. It's not that I was looking for it, but a couple times, like it just kind of stuck out. But I'll say this, like what you guys are saying, like with the world building and the set pieces and all that stuff, and the art direction for this movie, it was very visually pleasing. And I think that the things that they needed to land right, they did land right in terms of the visuals. There's a lot of good, like I always say this, like there's some comic book movies that do a really good job where like if you hit pause, that's like a nice visual, a nice graphic, a poster or whatever. This movie, out of the recent Marvel movies, I believe has the most of that. So stylistically, it has a lot of good choices here. Once again, there are certain moments where the CGI, I'll actually point out the image that's up right now. Right now, you can't tell, but the helmet that Natalie Portman is wearing is in motion. I saw it as the CGI, one of the CGI elements. But that's never really kind of taken me out of the movie. That kind of happens. It happens even on non-comic book movies. So that really didn't do it. But the world building, the design, and the things that needed to work, like you said, the meeting with Suze, all that stuff, the colors they popped and everything. So I
Yeah,
really enjoyed
definitely.
that. It kind of kept some of that footprint from Ragnarok, and then it expanded it because we do travel to like different areas.
You know, I wish this movie was named Jane and Thor. I really instead of I just this movie itself. Let's talk about the chemistry between. Well done. I mean, again, I'm not just gonna critique this movie and say negative things about it because let's be honest, I was entertained. I loved the scenes between Jane and Thor so much between Natalie Portman and Chris Hemsworth. It's like they just grew more entwined with each other. I just love their chemistry, man. Their chemistry was so well done. This is the most Thor and Jane we ever gotten in a movie before. And it really had a moment to where like it actually was part of the story because I mean the whole thing of Jane has always been the side story and they really didn't it wasn't like a significant piece to the story per se, besides the one of the Infinity Stones being in Jane. But besides that though, it's really entwined with each other. I love that their chemistry is just once again, it's just so beautifully done. I love it how they could just take jabs. I love how like they added on these certain scenes in the movie to where it just felt so natural and felt so like just smooth. It felt like that was the story we got, even though we know like they reshot all this stuff and created us a backstory between them that we never knew about. And I love that about it so much. I love that. Cloud was the Jane and Thor thing. What'd y'all think? What'd you think of that?
I loved it. I really liked it a lot. I was worried on how they're gonna bring her into the movie, and overall, I was really satisfied with Jane Foster's version of Thor.
Yeah.
And how because we never got an explanation from why Jane Foster wasn't in Infinity War or even I think it's just in Endgame they mentioned they broke up.
Yes, yeah.
And it was actually in Avengers Age of Ultron.
There you go. Yeah. They just mentioned it. I liked how they went back to that. Now I don't know if they had that plan or not, but I think they did it really well.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it was one of those things where like they almost put Jane's character in a shelf, and they, like
they picked her up again. They opened the book.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I was gonna make an analogy of like, with the analogy was not gonna work, but like sometimes you put something on the shelf. You pick it back up, it's not the same. It's older, or like with food, like it gets spoiled. I guess that's what I was trying to say. But here it was just like dusting it off and almost like I don't even know why I'm trying to make an analogy, but they made it better. They took the character out of the shelf, they placed it back to where it needed to in the story, but also made it better. They added depth to it, and a lot of that was thankful for flashbacks. Yeah, I've always been a big fan of flashbacks, and here they used it. I want to say like sparingly because they didn't rely too much on it. They did have like montages and stuff like that, and I won't say more than that. But I think that did add, and it kind of revisited what they had, because there was a big period of time, like there was like a jump between, there was always Marvel movies coming out, especially leading up to Avengers Ultron, but from the last time we saw Thor and Jane together to then something like Avengers Ultron, where Thor starts mentioning like, oh yeah, Jane is super successful, she's doing a lot of big things, she's just not in the movie, and our relationship is a little complicated. When they mentioned that, there was probably a couple of years in between, so the relationship could have been very strong, and they probably created a lot of memories together, and this movie kind of showed us what that world looks like, and therefore it makes sense for Thor to kind of, you see her again, and it's like, oh, especially at a time where Thor is kind of seeking meaning. I think going back to the first person he really had a connection with on Earth, I think it worked really well. And for Jane to also have her own individual storyline as well, that intertwined with everything, I think they did a really good job. I personally haven't read the Mighty Thor comic books. I assume that the comic book probably has more depth and more emotion to it and all that stuff. But I feel like for the story that they went with, like it worked. Her character really worked.
Gotcha. Yeah, no. Chris Hemsworth really. I mean, I just can't see anyone playing Thor. I mean, can you guys see anyone else playing Thor? I mean, he is this character, man. He really is. I just love his. And that's the thing too. I might not like the whole silliness overboard, but I mean, Chris Hemsworth just makes me laugh, dude. I mean, when he smiles, you just can't help but to smile, man. That's a good looking smile right there. And then, I mean, dude. And then at the same time, though, huh?
He's very charismatic.
Yeah, and then especially like I was waiting for them to throw like an ass question, especially whenever, because we see in the trailer, right, his clothes come off. I was like, that's a god's ass right there, like like just to throw it, yeah, instead of saying America's ass. Oh, look, that's god's ass right there. And also, I mean, Tessa Thompson in here too. I mean, she does phenomenal, man. That's one of the things that Angela actually wanted. My wife Angela, like she actually wanted more Tessa Thompson in here, more so. Even though she did, I mean, obviously we do see where her character ends up at, but at the same time, though, without going into spoilers, like we should have got a little bit more of her. But I'm gonna say, without spoiling it, like the ending, I did not like. I'm not a fan of the ending where the story ended off at. Am I the only one here, guys? Y'all like the ending?
No, I hated it.
You hate it? Okay. Yeah. See, I mean, I didn't like it, man. I mean, I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah. I'm a little torn. Part of me liked the ending. What it meant for some characters is exciting. And like it definitely took some, like, I don't want to say guts, but I mean it took some like strong direction of like where they want the character to go, and then at the same time it did injustice to other characters. So yeah, it's a little weird. I'm torn. If I can summarize it, like it did, part of it felt anticlimactic. But once again,
yeah, I would agree that
the good thing is like the movie doesn't just end there. It kind of lets you simmer in a little bit on the idea of what they're wanting to do, and I think that had they not given me that, like, okay, let me show you a little what we're trying to do, or let me show you why it ended the way it did. If they had not done that, I would have been really pissed off. Here, I'm just kind of like, well, this is only gonna.
I'm like, why? But yeah.
Well, this is like, it's like this ending can be wasteful if what comes next is not good. Like you have,
exactly,
to hit the mark on what comes next. But when you're talking about this movie and how it ends, if that ending is only going to work for you dependent on the next body of work, then is it a good ending? Like, I'm torn about that. Like, I got you. Really, but I can see it. A lot of people are going to feel very different about.
Again, that's what I'm saying. The comic book fans, they're going to be split on this movie. I feel like they are. Was this the film that we needed, guys? Is this the? I mean, knowing that this is Ant-Man comes out later this year, right? Ant-Man.
I think fall. I think
fall. Yeah. So we got
fall this year.
Yeah.
Quantumania?
Yeah.
Are y'all sure? I thought this is the last Marvel movie for the year.
Oh, okay. Well, Lex checks that on for it real quick. Was this the film, I guess, that we deserved, Cloud? Do you think?
It was not.
Oh, damn. Okay. All right. Dang. All right. I can respect that, man. Tell me why, Cloud. I mean,
I had such high expectations for this movie, man. Like really high.
Yeah.
This is the first Marvel movie we're getting with one of the first Avengers we had. Every other Marvel movie we've gotten is like a newcomer.
Yes.
My expectations for this one were really high, and this movie, like, it was a movie we needed, but it was not the one we deserved. Like, I think we deserved way more, especially with Christian Bale as the villain. Like,
yeah. Okay, so I feel like there was a misconnection with the villain here, with Christian Bale playing this villain. I wanted, again, this is Academy nominee, Academy Award winner Christian Bale here. This is Batman. How the hell can I not feel the villain? I mean, he's played a really good villain. American Psycho. Has anyone seen that movie? I mean, he knows how to be crazy. So that's why I'm just like, I just feel like it was a missed opportunity there for. I mean, again, people might say, "Oh, Ryan, he's villainy." You know, I mean, in my point of opinion, he's not. He's not the villain that I think we deserved. The climax was not what I wanted here. Same. I mean, I have to agree with Cloud there, man. I didn't feel like this. I didn't feel like he didn't give justice to the villain. The climax was a huge miss for me. You know, thinking about all those, especially the certain scenes that I'm not going to mention when we talk about spoilers in a little bit. But yeah, it very kid friendly like, and you guys will know what we're talking about. But yeah, definitely missed opportunity here. You know. I really, you know, Thor's one of the OG Avengers. Like he's like my favorite, so I already have high expectations already going in because of that. But I mean, Thor, the first Thor movie, and you know, Thor: Dark World. I know Lex is not a fan of Dark World.
No one is.
Oh man, whatever. Hey, Dark World is a good, solid. It's a really good Thor movie.
No, but
again though,
how you feel? You said it's your favorite. You think it's the best Thor movie.
Yes,
that's where
I'm split. I'm split. I'm split between that one and the first Thor.
Yeah, the first Thor. First Thor is underrated.
I'll say that. Oh, dude, I
don't like the second Thor though.
I'm split. I'll be honest. Depending what kind of time of day it is, I you know, if I'm in the mood,
we can all agree this is the worst Thor movie.
I can't. I don't put it as the worst.
Oh man, dude. See, I don't. Whoa. I'm just kidding.
but it's not better than Ragnarok, in my opinion. I like Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Again, that was like where it was still balanced. It still threaded the line, and I am glad that Taika got some liberties because part of the stuff that was working really well here, it's still his DNA. But I really liked the villain. It was, it should have been epic. This should have been top 3 Marvel villains because it's Christian Bale, and it didn't get there. For me personally, it is one of the better villains, but I do agree. Like with Christian Bale, it does seems like his character might have like under delivered. The performance though, for me, it was really solid. And I just feel like the movie with the 2-hour runtime that they gave us, they might have only given us 80% of what his character was really like. I have a feeling, and there's been chatter that there's a 4-hour cut of this movie directly from the director's office.
I believe it.
And I feel like part of what could have made this character, like, taking him to the next level, Christian Bale's character, would have been to show us that other 20% or something. I don't know. I don't know exactly what was cut, but what I'm saying is like his performance felt like they kind of capped him a little bit. Like they capped him on what he could do and what his character could really do. And that does feel like a disservice to someone with the chops of Christian Bale. But there was moments in there, even some of the visual stuff that they decided to do with his character, it was really cool. I really, really enjoyed that part. And I actually think like he gave one of the strongest performances in the movie. It's just like you guys said, it's just some stuff under delivered. And his character for the most part kind of kept it true in terms of kind of sticking outside of the comedy. But once again, like when that is your villain, you kind of have like a lot of tone shifting happening, and some of it just doesn't fit.
Yeah, no, definitely. But again, though, for me, it felt like a missed opportunity. It really did for Christian Bale there. I mean, again, this is Academy Award winner Natalie Portman in here. I love Natalie Portman in this movie so much. I loved her in Thor. I loved seeing her on camera. You know, I'll be honest, this is the best Jane Foster we've ever gotten. I'll say that.
For sure.
Best Jane Foster. You know, Tessa Thompson was really shined a lot in Thor Ragnarok, and it feels like she, not so much too much in this one, which which sucks and everything. But I really would have liked to see more of her in it. A rating 1 out of 10, 10 be the highest. Lex, what do you give the rating of this movie, man?
That's hard. I honestly right now, and if y'all know me, like this to me is considered low. I had a lot of fun, but when I look at it as a movie, and once again, the things I liked about the ending kind of relying on what happens next, I think right now it's sitting at a 7.5 for me.
Okay, that's not bad.
It's not bad, but if you know me, like that's lowish on the lowish end.
I know, because you always give high ratings.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always give high ratings and everything.
How about you guys? What do you guys do?
Yeah, so I feel like this, I'm very split right now. I'm gonna have to give this a solid 6, man. 6 out of 10, a little bit above average. Just because the way, again, it's not my cup of tea. The silliness was not my cup of tea. I did not like that too much of the silliness. It was a lot of pushing it out there, and for to each his own and everything. If you really like that a lot, that's fine. That's totally fine. You're okay, guys. Movie Talk fans, you're okay. That's totally fine. But again, though, it's just not my cup of tea. I did not enjoy it so much. But again, though, that just my point of opinion there. Yeah. Now, with that being said and everything, it's gonna be. I feel like the whole Movie Talk fan. I hope the moviegoers. I feel like they're gonna be split, man. I really do. I feel like they're gonna be very split. Yeah.
I feel this is the first time. Usually when a movie is split, I see it of like, well, no, the splits are always just two people having different opinions. I feel like this one's gonna be where
one of those
people that usually agree are also gonna split. Like Marvel fans that are like just Marvel fans that have always been on the positive end of things. I think they're gonna have reasons to feel split on the movie, but we'll see how it goes.
We'll check it out.
What was your rating though?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 6.
6? Okay.
Yeah. Movie Talk. Alamo City Movie Talk does recommend this movie, guys. Be sure to check this out on a theater near you because we know you guys are. We know we're all gonna talk about this movie. Thank you so much, guys, for making us a part of your day. As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. aka Ryan 680.
This was Lex. Y'all take care, and hope you guys enjoy the review.
Yeah, guys. Check y'all later, man. Oh, put on comments down below. What did you think of the movie? Comments down below.